Welcome, Black.
Welcome, Black. You are listening to the Seeds of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast,
where we discuss legacy, history, resistance, and forward movement.
The revolution is live. Welcome back.
Yay! We are black in this thing.
Hey.
What's up, y'all?
How y'all feeling?
My sisters. I got my sisters. They all with me now. Oh, Lord. You may not be here. They still mine.
It's good to be back.
Very good. Very
yes,
good.
yes.
Definitely missed us and missed being here and doing this.
Yes.
Bi-weekly sometimes. Weekly. But definitely missed this vibe.
So welcome to season 2.
Yes, season 2
of the Seeds of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast.
The
revolution is live.
I'm Dr. Asantewa Sunni-Ali.
I am Aiyisha T. Obafemi.
And I am Princess Mdaiyah Yisrael.
All right, we got the Efuata today. Hey, Efuata. She said she black.
Black mixed with black.
Yes.
So today we are talking about the Blackity Black summers that we had.
Yes.
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 And it was quite full.
Yes.
So.
Oh, very full.
It was very full.
A lot to share, a lot to digest, ingest, and just allow to just flow. So it was a lot.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so what y'all do? What y'all do over the summer?
Ooh. Well, we did a lot of things together.
Right.
We did.
A whole lot.
Let's see.
Right. I'm like, where do we start?
Yes, where do we begin?
June. What happened in June?
Okay, June 7th, I went to the celebration for Pac for his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Come on
yes, you
now.
did.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
And I got to visit Uncle Matulu then. And, that was the last time I saw him before he passed. Literally
a month
later. Exactly 1 month. He transitioned 1 month after that.
Wow. What a blessing.
Yeah.
That was June. July was our Baba Bilal's 75th birthday. We celebrated in New York with family and friends and his longtime comrades.
Yes.
It was very beautiful, very emotional in a good way. And just, it filled my spirit to see everybody together and his nieces and nephews that came, despite the rain that started off in the morning.
Not just rain. That was a storm.
Yeah, it was definitely a storm.
Coming down.
It was coming down.
But
and
it didn't stop a thing.
Not at all.
And we had people coming from all type of different places, not just New York. I mean, we obviously drove up from Atlanta.
Right.
But we had people come from Philly, Virginia.
DMV area.
Everywhere.
From different parts of the South.
Yeah.
And then we had some great food.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Shout out to Rosh Shamash.
Rosh Shamash. And then, but before that, the day before that, we had our family reunion on our Johnson side.
Happy J.
So that was more amazing food and family fun and music and all the babies
fellowship.
And
Turning
pictures.
The babies were turning up to Gracie's Corner.
Yes. And then after that, a few days later, I celebrated my 56th birthday in Niagara Falls.
Woo.
For the first time in Niagara Falls. It was so beautiful.
56,
so peaceful.
56 where?
Right.
56
where?
Yes.
So that was really, it was a chill, peaceful vibe. It's really beautiful there.
We ended July.
Oh, goodness.
We can't stop.
Here we go.
We ended July celebrating my birthday, which includes my twin brother and my son, Kyle Farrell. So, we had to end the month out on a great note, celebrating the triple threat.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But we, before that, though, was our family reunion on the Lola side.
Yes, the west side.
The west
side, which was so beautiful.
It was.
Shout out to all
West
the
Family Matters.
West family. Yes. Shout out to Dr. Jones for hosting that thing.
Yes, that was so much fun.
It was. It was great. We missed
so,
you. We
I
missed
know.
you.
Yeah.
And then I missed your
going on.
birthday too. I missed both of y'all's birthdays.
Yeah.
Because I was working
Yeah.
over the summer. And I usually teach, a class here or two, but it's usually virtual. So this was my first time doing an in-person summer engagement. It was 6 weeks.
And where were you?
I was at the University of Maryland.
Okay.
That's why I say early, the DMV area. So I literally stayed in DC and also in Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
And traveled to Virginia, for various things. But it was a great experience. Talk about brilliant minds, like brilliant young minds. So we taught high schoolers, rising juniors and seniors. So shout out to Dr. T, who was my co-faculty member. But the course that we taught was all about autobiography as an alternative way of knowing. So we taught Assata Shakur.
Nice.
We taught Angela Davis. We taught Patrice Cullors. We taught Darnell Moore. Very fascinating class. Of course, Dr. Maya Angelou, can't forget her.
Yes.
And when I say like these students were ready at all times to dive into conversation, to interpret, to analyze, to interrogate. So it was a really refreshing experience. And also I extended a lot of energy, right? Because it was a college level seminar. So we met face to face every day, as I said. I'm kind of emphasizing that. So it took a lot out of me. But again, it was refreshing at the same time.
That sounds like it was great.
Yes.
It was.
And I would like to say we did have some very close family losses in July in the beginning, which kind of rocked our movements for a little bit. We lost a very great brother, our dear sister Aisha's ex-husband, and our beautiful niece's father, our brother Avery Mitchell. He passed away on July 5th. And then literally 2 days later, our great uncle, the doctor, Matulu Shakur passed away. So it was a very emotional few days from one janaza to the next janaza. And then planning, still planning.
Both of their celebrations of
They're
life.
both their celebrations, Daddy's party,
Yeah.
our own birth dates, and everything else that we had to do in between. So July was a packful month.
It was.
And then we come into Black August with a bang. We celebrated August the 6th. We celebrated the first celebration of life for our uncle, Dr. Matulu Shakur, was held here in Atlanta, which was really a beautiful experience to just come together with so many comrades, so many children of comrades, and so many who loved him. And it was just a blessing to be able to participate in that process. And send him off, with so much
Properly.
love.
Yeah, I was going to say royally.
Yes.
Royally.
Yes.
So thank you for all of that we were able to do in the beginning of August.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because you were out there. You were
organizing.
Yes.
Getting people together.
You did that.
Making sure everything was the way it needed to be.
Take a bow, Mrs. Powers. You did that.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. We're only a reflection of our greatest assets.
Absolutely.
And those who came before us. So everything that I did.
They taught us well.
Yes,
They did.
I learned from them, and I'm grateful that I was able to execute it. So
And you were emceeing.
Yes.
Beautiful job.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Y'all
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It was an honor to sing Whirlwind.
Yes.
In the, I definitely channeled Iya Fulani.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. She was
heard
there.
I was like,
that.
I'm going to sing this just like she would.
She was there.
And Auntie Kasima actually said something to me afterwards. She said, you even do that like that thing that, like your mom does. She's like, I can't describe it. I just can do it. So she was like, her spirit definitely, was in there.
Yeah.
And coming out. So shout out to Auntie Kasima and also Auntie Bahati.
Oh yeah, Mom
Dr.
Bahati.
Mildred McLean.
Oh yeah.
Who had some words for me too after.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she had some words for me as well. She was like, "Oh yeah, your mother was all in you. You're that organizing." And I was like, "Yeah, she definitely said, let me come in here and help out." So
Let's
definitely
get it
appreciate
together.
the spirit of Fulani always coming forward and coming through when we need her the most, and allowing us to represent everything that she placed inside of us. So that's a blessing every time that that occurs.
Yeah, whether we know we need her or not.
Right.
She just
We
show
just get
up.
up and go.
Like, I know. Like, she knows.
She's like, I'm tagging along.
Yeah. But that's one of the things I love about, like, our community celebrations. Like, whether we're celebrating, like, life, like a birthday, like Daddy's, or, someone's transition and celebrating the life that they had. Like, it really opens up those spaces for folks to just be candid with one another, to pour into each other. Especially, as we all get older, and especially not having mommy around, it was really special, to feel like, okay, I'm getting poured into by these community elder mamas, which I hadn't felt, in a while. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. And I think even though I don't like to say that it was a sad occasion, because it wasn't sad.
Right.
It's like, we know one thing for sure. We're all going to die.
Pass at some point.
So that's something that's going to happen. And I think that as we talk about it more openly and don't make it such a taboo subject, that when it comes to those celebrations, and that's something that, we've been blessed to have our whole lives, and the way we were taught to celebrate, that it is a celebration.
Right.
We should be sad for ourselves because
no funerals.
We still
We're
here.
the one that's gonna miss them.
and without them, so we have to have those memories. They're transcended to the next level. Now they're up there where they can really work to help us here and to ensure that we're on the path that we need to be. And so those celebrations, I think, also give you new meaning, like just a new feeling of getting out there and doing what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And then educating the masses on who these great people are, so that they know that they are still here. Like, as long as we're here, they're here.
Right.
So I think, that it was beautiful. Both of the celebrations of life, that we had in August, because both of them are Leos. So Uncle Matulu's celebration was 2 days before his birthday. And Avery's was a day before his birthday. So that's
powerful. It was
Shout out to Avery.
Yeah.
Shout out to Avery. So I wanted to say this then, and I'll say it now. That way it's recorded and, in the airwaves. Forever. And there was a moment that I'll never forget. There's a lot of moments, but this one in particular at Mommy's, and I don't know if y'all know where I'm going, but at Mommy's 50th, Mommy's 50th birthday. I think I was like 15.
Wow. Jamil and Camilla had just been born the month before.
Yeah, and so it was Mommy's rites of passage. It was at the John Henrik Clark Center when that was a thing here in Atlanta. And so, where is that at? Can we bring that back? What happened? I'm going to look into it. So, or if you're listening, let us know. It was a beautiful place. It was a beautiful center. There was a moment in time where they had asked folks to speak. Right, on behalf of Mommy, or to Mommy, share special messages, etc. Avery was in the audience, like deep too, like kind of in the back, in the middle, and he stood up, and everybody was like, okay, what's this brother getting ready to say? Because everybody else kind of sat in their seats. He stood up because he knew that he was getting ready to say something powerful. So he said, I want everybody to know that this is my mother. I'm Aisha's husband. I love this family. I will do anything for this family. I will die for this family. And then he got real quiet because he had everybody. And he said, but most importantly, I will kill for this family. And the whole audience was like, whoa, okay, bro. And then people started clapping, but you could tell folks were a little uncomfortable, it was like the slow clap. Like, okay. He'll kill for the bell. Let me.
But
I think he put a lot of folks on notice too. Like, hey, they got a soldier. You know, I know that these are, you know, a family of warriors and soldiers, but they have another one on the roster.
Yeah.
And y'all need to know who I am. And he wasn't afraid to stand up and say, you know, this is who I am and this is what I represent and this is what I'm willing to do behind mine.
Right.
Yeah.
So shout out to Avery for that, for always standing up and being clear.
Avery Mitchell.
Right.
Yeah, Avery was that brother. Like, one thing that I loved about him my most profound memory is just sharing those times of him and I taking the children to school together, because they all went to Gate City together when they were younger. And we would spend those mornings just talking, and I would hear he would be telling the girls, and Kafani. He would just be giving them jewels.
Yeah.
Always dropping great jewels that they carry to this day.
Yeah.
And the one thing that Avery always showed them was a pure love to them. Like, he loved all of his nieces and nephews as they were his own children. And that was a blessing that, you know, I didn't even know that they had. But now that I listen to them, and they're in their adult years, they talk about how he was a great father figure for them. And that's very important for young men and young women to have in this day and age when, you know, we see so many who do
when
not.
People are afraid to speak up.
Yes.
To step in, to say something, you know.
And he always did. And no matter where we were.
And was never afraid.
Exactly. That's what I say. No matter where we were. He made sure people knew. I'm Avery, and this is my family right here. Don't talk to them. Don't these girls, this young man here, and even with even outside of that, with his other nephews, you know, with Amir and that crew and Jihad, you know, he made sure that they knew he was always there for him, and he's still there. He's still doing his magical work. And we're just blessed that the Creator allows our ancestors to be able to step into the midst of us and continue the work that he had already planned for them to do, whether physical or spiritual. So, you know, I'm thanking the Creator for Avery Mitchell and all the things that he's left for us to continue to carry on.
Absolutely.
Yes. Definitely a blessing.
Yes.
And that, you know, that was the way we were raised and who we were raised by. You know, Uncle Matulu was there for us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, so always there and never afraid to step up and say what needed to be said.
Right.
You know, if he didn't like something, he'll let you know it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And with no, you know, no qualms about it.
About
and he may not say it in the way you would have liked him to.
Right.
But you got the message.
Right. And that was the point, right? To get the message.
Get the message and do something with it. Don't just get the message. That's the other part. Because when he came home and we went to see him, he gave us messages.
So because he knew that the time, he's like, this, all right.
It was short.
We got stuff to
move.
do.
He was
we have things to do.
Yeah, now we have
so
to
let's
move.
get it done. How we doing this?
Right.
You know, I know he kept the fool on the phone. A lot of times.
How you doing, sister? Like, hey, what you doing, sister?
Not Ifua.
Yeah. He be like, Ifua.
I need you to do this. And whenever I call, he be like, baby. Your uncle needs this. I need that. I need you to call this person. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Let's make these calls. He said, I got things to do, places to go.
Right.
The one thing that I wanted to do, because he kept saying, he was like, do you fry fish like your mama?
Oh, no.
I said, I actually do. He said, oh, yeah. When I come to the land, I want some fish.
Oh, wow.
To me, you little Fulani. He said, so I want some of that fish.
You know what that means.
I know I got to make some fish.
You got to make
so
some.
I have some actually sitting, so I'll cook some fish
make
one
him
day.
some fish.
One day soon. But it was a blessing to spend that time with him on our side, free.
Yes,
and it was
right.
That he
and
was
because y'all
surreal.
were so young, you know, when
that's
he
what I was gonna say.
went away, I have, you know,
you have
memories of him, you know, in my childhood and spending time with him and running around Banner and you know, him coming to visit and Uncle Matulu, like the other uncles, was always fly.
Right.
Their outfits was
I've seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures. Like, excuse us.
Oh yeah.
When they came stepping and you knew they was there, they had to make an impact. Their presence. Make sure their presence was felt.
Right.
So but so I, you know, I'm glad we have those memories and that we can I can smile and remember everything that he taught us, and everybody who's there. There's a lot of them up there now.
It is.
That's
and they
working. And I'm sure they had a party.
Yeah.
They had a party.
And they still have a party.
Right.
And meetings.
Right.
You think mommy ain't called a family meeting? She was like, oh, wait, Avery up here. Okay. Matulu. All right. Family meeting.
She was like, come on now.
Yep.
Exactly. And she was like, it's Black August.
Exactly. Elijah probably standing by the door.
Elijah, right, exactly.
You know what comes to my mind? Pac's song. I wonder if Heaven Got a Ghetto.
Yes.
You know, there. Like, give me the mic.
Fanny up there. Like,
Him and Yafeo up there rapping and performing.
Right.
Come on. Let's get him
They
a
probably
show
did a
real
Black
quick.
August concert and meeting. I'm grateful for the memories.
And Auntie Laverne was up there cooking.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, okay, I'll make all the food.
Yes.
Right, she was like, oh, fried fish? I can do that.
She gonna fry fish and she gonna fry some chicken.
In a heavenly way.
Yeah.
You say add some chicken.
Add some
Right.
chicken. She got fried
She
chicken.
ain't gonna not fry chicken.
she
That's her
gotta do
thing.
that. Yeah.
But it's something to imagine what life is for them on that side, And as you said, we're the ones who are left feeling the loss because we're left in this world without them, and we've had them all of our lives.
Yeah.
Right.
So, to regroup and to kind of reorganize your life without them, it's been
that is a
been
journey.
something.
Yeah.
I won't say
It
it's
takes
easy.
plenty of times I try to pick up a phone and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
All right.
No, I literally was like, oh, wait, I didn't hear Uncle Patula call me. And then I'm like, okay, and it just because you get used to that repetitive conversation after a while. And so, like
And you yearn for it because it's
because it was
beneficial to
refreshing,
you.
feeding
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
So, but I
we can still have the conversations though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And no, I have in my head.
You'll get
I've
your
been
answers.
remembering the things he's told me, and was like, okay, this is what you need to do for this, and this.
Yeah.
And he was like, and don't worry about nobody. Just do it this way. And so taking those gems that he left. And repeatedly told me every time we had a conversation.
So you wanted to make sure that you
that
got
you
it.
heard.
Yeah.
Right. That you got
So,
the message.
And that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
And we'll carry it on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say I don't have the memory because I'm so young. I'm still a young guy. PYT, being the PYT that I am. No, but I'm grateful for the experiences that you all had prior to him going in, so that I can learn, about him because I only, learn from stories, told by our parents, obviously by y'all as well.
Yeah.
And even in my own research and like teaching about, Black Power movement, even during the summer, I actually created a Shakur family tree.
Yeah.
Just because students had all these questions around like, oh, is Assata Shakur Tupac mom or auntie or like how does this work? And I was like, you know what? When you're creating a lesson, I'm like, okay, how do I do this to really show these connections? I was like, oh, let me do a family tree.
Yeah. Which is so important. Because
And
it is.
And I was able to
It's
show
education
these
out there about
connections,
it.
Oh,
and it
definitely.
educated me as well. Of
Definitely.
like, oh, okay,
But
it
that's why
made
it's
things a
important
lot
for us
more
to
clear.
Tell the stories.
Absolutely,
And to tell them
because
more
folks
clearly.
do not know.
I know,
those
and that,
connections.
I didn't think about how much, and there was a reason why we were quiet, back then.
Oh,
'cause you
yeah.
just didn't. But now is the time because it's so much out there about us. It's so much out there, or not so much out there about us because it's only certain ones that
Right.
there's so much out there
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you
And
have
it's
to
their
bring it back.
interpretation.
That
I
it
was gonna
wasn't
say
just
that too,
three.
Yeah.
It wasn't just three Shakurs, that were
Yeah.
the Shakur line. Like it started out here, and then you have this one, you have this
Right.
one.
Right.
So
Many
it's
branches
important
to
to
the tree.
Yep.
to definitely share that
it.
family tree and let everybody know. And the one thing too about all the uncles, when Uncle Matulu was locked up and Uncle Sekou Odenga, as political prisoners, the one thing that they always demanded was that they had pictures of all of us.
Yes.
So they always had the pictures, and then when they'd call, how's this one? How's that? Or they'd speak to whatever
Yes.
child was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everybody knew who it
I
was.
definitely remember the phone
They
calls.
knew, so that they stayed connected. They just
They did.
That
Yeah.
was just what they
Because it
did.
reminds me when Uncle Matulu called right after Baba Ak passed, right? He was calling
that day
actually
when
to check up on Baba Ak.
Yeah.
But he was still inside.
Yeah, he was still inside. Just a couple of years ago, really. Almost.
Well, no.
Not even a couple. Like, it's not even a year. Almost
a year and a half.
Yeah.
So, a year and a half.
Literally, when Aiyisha was like, "Oh, Fu is here," and I was like, "Hey, Uncle Batul," he was like, "You still got that little voice?" But it's like something I don't even remember. But what I do remember is, I remember when Uncle Sekou would call, I would run to the phone. Like, I would run and be one of the first people to talk to him, because it was just something we have a different relationship.
I was just saying, y'all still have it.
And Mommy told me if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. Not because he would literally walk me up and down the floor when I cried.
And you mean when you threw your fit?
When I cried.
Because you would have bust your head.
When I cried, he would pick me up and just walk me back and forth until I fell asleep. And I was little, so of course I don't remember those, but it was a bond that obviously was formed there. And I even, my oldest son has his name, Ngobazi. And just remembering those moments, keep me just full to know, like, we shared so many different aspects.
The bond was started and it was never broken, no matter what.
No matter what they tried to do to us. And then they tried many different ways to do it. But it's not broken, it hasn't been, and it won't be. Even to this day, we can pick up the phone and call our uncles, or they can call us if they're still behind, and it's the memory of those even visits, those calls.
Yes.
It's something inside of us that, we'll always be able to talk about those experiences.
Yeah.
And eventually be able to share them, in a different way to the people.
Right.
In a more, whatever, I don't know how people really, people like the dramatics of life, but we'll be able to share it in that way where people can even feel it in a different way and understand those connections and understand why we go so hard.
Understand the connections and understand that the powers that be, as it were, will also continue to try to suppress us and keep us down. Because I remember when Uncle Matulu was here in Atlanta, in this prison here, and I used to go see him every other Sunday. And when the warden got him removed, because he was doing too much good work.
Right. Of course.
Within those walls, I wasn't allowed. They banned and said, well, if you're not his child, or the reasons, excuses. But I was like, this goes back to my parents.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, it's like they're like, no, you're not.
Because I think I remember applying to go see him one time and could not go, and. It's like, oh, okay, y'all real serious.
Yeah, like, oh, your last name is, oh, okay, no.
Right, no. Look, red flag automatically.
Right.
But, we still got to keep fighting through that because we have to demand, and they have to understand that is our family. And we are going to continuously write these letters, write these petitions, calls, whatever we got to do. Pray, meditate, sing.
Yep, make noise.
Whatever we have to do
teach, educate.
to free all of our political prisoners from prisoners of war and bring, all those that are in exile home. Because what so many don't understand, so many have lived without their parents free.
Yes.
And the struggle that they go through, nobody can understand that.
No one.
So
we were blessed that we didn't have that long. I mean, we had some years, with our parents as political prisoners, but they've had lifetimes, like over 30 years.
Well, not only them, but their children.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the children. I'm saying the children have had that amount of time to not have their parent physically there with them every day.
Yeah, and I'm saying even painful. The children's children.
Yes.
The grandchildren have been able to get to know their grandparents.
Yeah.
And if they have children, the great-grandchildren,
entire families.
So many generations that are
their siblings, their parents.
And, we just have to keep that fire burning and keep supporting them.
Yes.
Because the support that they need is so tremendous.
Yes. It is.
And
We can't even quantify it. Like
you can't. There's no.
Can't quantify the amount of pain they have. Right. You know, think about Uncle Matulu's mom waited until he was released.
Right. Yes, and
before she closed her eyes.
Right, 2 weeks before he did.
That was powerful.
How powerful that is. Yes. She said, "I want to see my baby free," and she was able to. She was able to hug him, kiss him, talk to him, hold him, and he was able to cry in his mother's arms and talk to her. That's powerful, you know. And
it is.
It may not seem
the power
like a lot
of love,
to people, but
the power of fight,
a mother's love,
the true definition of a freedom fighter, and a revolutionary. As Uncle Matulu would say, straight ahead,
straight ahead,
like Matulu said.
Right. Yeah. And it's you know, we just got to carry it on, and it brings me to what we just experienced and celebrated, which was the renaming. 122nd and Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard in Harlem, New York, to the Black Panther Way.
Yes.
That was phenomenal.
I'm so glad you were able to go.
Be there.
And Daddy.
Yeah. He had to go.
Daddy
had to go.
Literally taking him there felt so good, because it was like this was a chapter that he started.
Right.
You know?
The notorious.
I was going to say the notorious
Harlem chapter of the Black
Panther Party.
And he told me, he said, because when I got there, of course, I got there early to help and everything, and I was meeting different people. I met a brother named BJ, who's a Panther vet, and a sister named Bunny, and he was like, "Oh, you Bilal's daughter? Oh, I need to hug you twice." Okay. And he just started, you know, talking about different stories. He's like, "Yeah, I love him on the sax," and, you know, different things like that. And it was a lot of Panthers that were there from that chapter. And just meeting them was a beautiful experience. And then meeting some of their children for the first time. Of course, some of the children I know, but some of the children I didn't know, you know, and experiencing that was a beautiful process. Because one of the sisters said, she said, "You know, I really don't approach Panther children because," she's a Panther child too, but she said because they be real intense. So I said,
we are our parents' children.
I said, I definitely appreciate that conversation, because some of us are more intense than others. Some of us had experiences that's the only way we know how to be at this present time, to be able to express where we are. And she said, well, I grew up real in suburbia, so I didn't see those things. She went to rallies, apartheid rallies, and different things that her mom showed her pictures of, but she didn't experience, you know, and then she didn't experience seeing her parents incarcerated or even on the run. And then from what I know, she didn't even grow up knowing about it as to the depths that we did.
Right.
Her father didn't actually tell her who he was or a part of what he was till she was in her older teens. You know, so it shows the different dynamics of who we are as Panther
and what
Cubs.
happens to everybody, you know, when they come in and destroy, you know, when they come in. So some people are like, let me go and, you know, be quiet over here. I don't want them coming for me. You know, let me stay with my family. So it's like, I get it, but it is an interesting thing. When I went to the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party in 2016, the same year that Mommy and Aunt Fanny passed, I almost didn't want to go, but I was like, okay, I need to go. Because it's New York. This is where they were. And it felt good to be there. You know, I wound up speaking, I think, on 3 panels because they were like, "Oh, you here? Oh, you gonna talk? Okay,
come on, Aiyisha."
So you know, doing that and then meeting a lot of the Cubs, you know, who, like you said, I didn't know. You know, a lot I did and a lot I didn't know, and because you know it was a family of us, you know, our family who were Panthers and who are Panthers, who all the children we all grew up together. So we always knew what it was. And then a lot of those children, you know, were like, "Oh, well, how's so-and-so? How's this? You know, we don't really know." And I'm like, you know, it's not a slight, but it's just like, if we weren't, we didn't all grow up together. So we have a different relationship, you know, than with everybody else. So, but I think as adults, I do think that it's good, you know, to build, you know, these relationships because our parents come from the same place. You know, we're fighting together. The same fight, you know, together. And, you know, so now we can, you know, build. You know,
and I was gonna say, and now we're fighting the same fight. We're continuing that fight, and then you know, fighting new iterations of the fight.
Right.
And that kind of helps with what on that particular presentation of the, you know, renaming of the street, the rededication actually of that street, and even we had some of the people who live in that building come out and talk about how the building is being demolished. I mean, not demolished, but treated poorly, and it's a historical building, and how it needs to be named that, you know, or at least acknowledged, you know, on some level. Because if we're going to name the street, then this building needs to have some type of acknowledgement.
Let's look at the whole
and restoration. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so just even hearing that and hearing the residents come out in support. I mean, they was coming out like, oh, I got my Black Panther shirt, I'm coming out. And you know, and just to witness the community, it was a lot of people that came out and watched. You know, I brought 3 of my children with me, and then Kofi, of course, came. My brother Kofi came. So it was just beautiful for all of us to be there together. And Fatiha came. And then and one thing one thing I wanted to acknowledge was just being there with, like you said, the Panther Cubs. And it was a few of us who kind of just came together. Kasise, Salah, you know, both of their parents were Black Panthers. Janet Cyril, may she rest in peace, and Kamal Siddiqui, who's still locked up, you know, still behind bars.
Free 'em all.
Free 'em all, exactly. We just had a moment together where we hugged in tears because, and one thing we all said was, we made it. We survived, you know, and even that was like surreal in so many ways because the 3 of us didn't grow up together, but our parents knew each other, and our parents, Daddy's still fighting to help, you know, Brother Baba Kamal get free. He still knows who Sister Janet was and her story. And so it's like the connecting the dots, you know. And then Daddy was telling me a lot of the Panthers that I may have met may not know him personally, because when he started, he had to go on a run. And he had to leave Uncle Lumumba in charge of the Harlem chapter and Uncle Sekou in charge of the Bronx chapter. And so just getting that history was, you know, it was really a breathtaking, a filling moment to just be like, oh, wow, this is...
And that's why it's important for us to talk to our elders. And I love that our children are wanting to document these things and ask the questions and record, you know, conversations, because I don't know what it is. And I was telling my daughters that, I say, you know, they're like, oh, you never told me something. Like if somebody brings something up, I'm like, it's not that I'm not telling you on purpose, but it's I got a whole life happening. So I might not think to tell you something. So we can sit down and have conversations. You can ask me, okay, what were you doing? And you know, when you were 20 to 25, you know, what things did you do that you think that I might want to know about? You know, in those conversations. But the stories. Amazing. Like, I don't know, Afua, how did you feel, if you can remember at all, in 1981 when your hands were zip tied?
I mean, honestly, I don't remember. I actually, it was something came over me this morning, and I was feeling, well, I was saying to myself how visually, I don't remember the visual of it, you know, but the feeling when I talk about it or hear about it, all those feelings are present, you know. So it's in there in my head somewhere.
What are the feelings, my love?
And for our listeners, we are talking about so in 1981 there was a Brinks armored car robbery in Nanuet, New York, Nyack, and our mother was ambushed, if you will, in Birdtown, Mississippi. What, a week after? A week after that, you know, I think we spoke about it in season 1 a little bit. You know, there were tanks, plural, over 200 armed agents
CIA
and they zip
FBI.
tied the children's hands like babies, like
9 months to
Yes.
13 years old was
yes,
all the children.
and zip tied the young ones. They handcuffed the teenagers and zip
zip-tied
tied
us.
the hands of the babies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, visually, I don't remember
Well, I can
like
tell
what
you.
it looked like, but what I only remember what it looked like a little bit because of the newspaper
Because of the
clippings,
pictures.
you know. But from my for me to
Your
sit back
memory.
and remember it through my own
You
eyes,
repressed it.
Yeah, I don't remember, but the feeling though, is really something. I don't remember being scared. I just remember, and it's part of the training our parents taught us to stand there with your head held high, no matter what goes on
Yes.
around you. So I remember doing that. I remember standing there and being diligent in that, and I remember just watching, you know, just being there and looking at everything. And I remember being in the jail cell with all the children, and our grandfather Lajo coming to get us.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, like, yeah, I don't. And
Well,
I can agree. I can attest that it's probably
It's in
deeply
there.
repressed
Oh,
in
it's
me.
in there.
and,
Oh, of course.
It's in there.
something that, you know,
'Cause I know
sometimes
that
take a whole lot to come
yeah,
out.
'cause me and Chaka were with Uncle Lumumba, Shakur in New Orleans because we had school,
Yeah.
and you know, going, you know, watching it on the news. You know, once we realized what was happening.
Yeah.
And I think I told the story about how we realized what was happening.
Yeah.
Me, Chaka, Dingus, and Big Setua Shakur.
Right.
There's two
Setua
Setua
Jamila.
Shakurs. Yes, Setua Jamila Shakur. We were walking around the corner from Uncle Lumumba's house to our house because we lived that close.
Yeah.
I wore glasses and forgot my glasses.
I remember
And
now.
so we're walking, and they're telling me there are cops at the door. And I was like, no, they're not. They're next door. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Right.
So
Right.
I
So
can't see.
Right.
And so when we realized it, and then we beelined back to Uncle Lumumba and told him, we turned the news on.
Wow.
I saw y'all
Oh my God.
Wow.
handcuffed. I just started crying. I was like,
I don't think you've ever shared this.
Yeah, I'm like, you never said that.
yeah. They, you know, we saw it, watched it. But the one thing I was crying, but the one thing I was so proud of was my mama,
Right.
our mama.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
she held high.
Listen, when
Like
I
what?
watch
Just
those,
as proud
when I
as
see
she
them
could be.
What
pictures
we
and
doing?
watch those video clips of how mommy walked with her head held, like, y'all know.
Yeah.
I'm Falani.
She wasn't daunted
Yeah.
in the least
At all.
She was not
That's
daunted.
what
And
I
she
think.
was she was exonerated of that charge,
Right.
you know, thanks to Uncle Lumumba because he
Yes.
found the mechanic
Right.
to
To get
prove
the receipts.
that she was in New Orleans
Right.
and had a press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something. Yeah.
And our Uncle Lumumba Shakur was a Panther 21 member,
Yes.
and he was the husband of Afeni Shakur, her
Yes.
first
My
husband.
first husband.
And the
Yep.
son of
Yes, of Abba
Abba,
Saladin
Saladin
Shakur,
Shakur.
the patriarch of the Shakur family. So when
Yes.
we talk about Shakurs, and that it's more than Tupac, Afeni, and Matulu, there's
Right.
more.
So
And
much
you
more.
know, the stories we're telling.
Yeah.
And so, yes, remember that.
Yeah.
and how the tables turn. Do y'all remember who was in the picture with mommy? One of those pictures where she had her handcuffs.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do.
There was a man.
I
There was
do.
a white
man.
gentleman in the background.
Yes.
I think his name was
Rudy
Rudy.
Giuliani.
Yes.
Yes, him.
Yeah.
And look
Yeah.
how justice comes back.
I think I might have told him off one time in court.
Come home to roost.
There is we need to find it. There's a clip of me on CNN, a 14-year-old me speaking outside of the courthouse.
Yeah.
You know, because we would have to go
Yeah,
to court
go to
every
court.
day, and a bunch of the cousins would go. Me, Pac, Aiyisha Jabbar, Nochi Malik, Shadia, like a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And they put the camera in my face one day. And I don't remember what I said, but I know that when I got back to New Rochelle, Amina said, "Oh my God." They said, "You represented so well.
Yeah.
You spoke." And I said, "Thanks to my parents."
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, "Y'all not
Absolutely.
scaring me.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all don't
Y'all
scare
don't know
us.
who we are."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Righteous
we righteous
soldiers.
And we don't wear no uniforms.
We ain't scared of the FBI.
Right.
Or the
Or the
CIA.
CIA.
No, seriously. Yeah, those were some times. But to be there for that naming kind of brought it in a
Full
different
circle.
Yeah, full circle, because we were able to reflect and say we didn't just survive.
It's a tangible reminder of what happened. It's a tangible reminder that your parents, although we know they existed and people know, but this says they existed, they lived, they did this.
And that what they did was vital.
Yes.
Right? That it was important.
Yes.
And look how people want to yearn for that history, and they want to know the stories. They want to know who the Panthers are.
And one of the key things that was resonated when they said we named it the Black Panther Way, because we want people to follow the way that the Black Panthers did. It wasn't the road or the boulevard or street.
Double
the Black Panthers,
let's go.
Exactly. The Black Panthers led the way. They started the free breakfast program.
Yes.
They started where they come to tutoring.
And free lunch.
The free lunch. You know, all the things that brought the Black community together. The medical care. Oh, it's so much.
Programs that exist to this day. That they implemented.
Right. Yeah. So the significance of it being the Black Panther Way is even...
That's powerful.
Right. The fact that they were able to make that happen. You know, and to watch all them vets there, the smiles, the fist in the air.
The pride,
like, you know what I mean? Like, Shep, and he worked it. He worked it. And I met some brother Tariq. That man has some... We got to interview him. His stories, you know, and BJ's stories. And then, of course, Uncle Jamal was there, you know, and we know his stories. And there was just so many there, you know, and I was just proud, like, honestly, and proud of all those who came to support. You know, all of our family came from different places. So it was just a proud moment. And like they said, they had people from everywhere came.
I talked to Lil Malika yesterday because it was her birthday.
Yes,
she
they
turned
were there.
49, and she was like, she said it was just so amazing to see.
Yes.
You know, and I said, I'm sure your father is so proud.
So proud.
Talk about our Uncle Abdul Majid. May he rest in peace. He was a political prisoner for many years, and unfortunately, he passed away behind bars.
And it was beautiful because Auntie Yasmin Majid was there, and she actually called out some of the names of those that still behind bars. And for a moment, she couldn't even continue because she was just so emotionally, you know, you could just see her emotion and feel it in her words and in her voice. And you know, one of the brothers stepped in. He said, "This is hard for us to be able to call out our names of our fallen comrades and those that are still being held captive."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I don't know if they had it there. Uncle Blood had it, and he passed. But the 50th, they had a thing. I think I took a picture or a video of it, where they had pictures of all the fallen comrades, because he made sure to show me where Mommy and Aunt Fanny were. But it was so I don't know who has it.
It wasn't there, but
I don't know who has
they
it.
They had other pictures.
Yeah, I want to find who has that.
Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff we have to gather and to be able to talk about. And I definitely want to say hey to Teresa and Sharon Schultz. Them two sisters right there. They're the daughters of Russell Maroon Schultz, who we all know. He was released. And he, you know, passed away, what was it, 6 weeks
it was
after he came home from cancer as well. Yeah. But their fire, them Schultz
I was just glad that he was able to
go home.
Yeah.
To go home.
You know, of course, we would, I would love for him to still be here, but he's still here.
Yeah, he's still
because his daughters.
Man.
You know.
Yeah. So, it's a blessing that we're able to, 50 years plus years later for some of us, you know, remain steadfast and strong and unite.
Yeah, it's 57 years this year.
Unite.
57 years.
Yeah. So long live the Black Panther Party.
Long live.
Absolutely.
Long live
just
all
think
those.
about the irony of like running those streets, sometimes, you know, clandestine, right? In secret, and then being able to be out and proud and, you know, loud with the fact that, yes, this is who I am. This is my identity.
Yes.
And have that be celebrated by your community.
It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
There's one other thing that was a highlight of my Blackity Black summer, and that was meeting Sundiata Akoli.
Oh yes,
at Daddy's birthday celebration. Another surreal moment. Right. And shout out to Lumumba Bandeli and so many others that really worked to, fight for his release.
Yes.
That was such a surreal moment because, again, I hadn't read Assata Shakur since I was an undergrad.
Right.
And then teaching it, having to read it again.
Yeah.
And literally teaching that opening chapter the same week that I meet Sundiata, where she's talking about, opening up with talking about the shootout and talking about Sundiata. And then this man is
standing.
Standing.
Not just there. Standing on his
standing
feet.
strong.
Yes.
Right before me. And so that was a really surreal moment and an honor, to be able to hug him.
It was beautiful.
To be able to speak to him.
Yep. And be in his presence. And Daddy
and them pictures when we were taking those pictures with him.
Yes. And Daddy
and to
him
even
those
hear
words.
Daddy's like Daddy was it was his birthday, but he was giving flowers to his comrades. He had us all stand up and give standing ovations to Uncle Sekou, to Sundiata, and talked about what they meant,
exactly,
to him and to the larger movement.
Exactly.
So it's just a beautiful day, a beautiful time.
Yep. And
and so inspiring.
I have to bring up Veranza Bowers.
Yes.
Because Brother Veranza Bowers is still in prison, as we know. And he did a tribute to Uncle Mutulu.
Yes.
And he called his people that's on the outside, was like, I need Bilal on this track. And I'm telling y'all, I was like, I had no words. Tears was coming down my face. I took Daddy to the studio, and we know Daddy's fighting through some medical challenges right now. And this particular day was a hard day for Daddy. But I took him to the studio, and he laid down the flute to this tribute that Brother Veranza did to Uncle Mutulu. And man, I cried because I was just like, the strength that Daddy played through for his brother to tribute his comrade, along with another comrade. And then Veranza doing it behind bars.
Yeah.
Right.
They still, they not, look, they standing. They working, they doing what they have to do.
Right.
And the tears wasn't sadness. It was just like a revelation of, we have no excuses.
Yeah.
We have none. He's behind bars. He's fighting through something that I can't even experience what Daddy's experiencing. And they did it in such passion. The passion that once we're able to play it, the passion that's going to come through it. And of course, as soon as he finished, he said, okay, daughter, it's time to go back to the doctors. I need to go. And just him saying that told me, like, he
said, I came and did what I needed to do.
And he did it in one take, y'all. One take.
Yeah.
Of course.
I said, okay, Bilal Sunni-Ali.
Because that's who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, just those this summer was definitely, it was
a lot. It was beautiful. It was encouraging. It was challenging. It was emotional.
And it brought us together.
Good and bad. And it just,
Yeah, I think in many ways it was a good, refresher.
Yeah.
Just reinvigorating and also letting you know, like we said earlier, when celebrations of life, when people transition, you get reminded about what's important.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Immediately, right? You're reminded about, and even with Daddy having his health challenges, you're able to, see things with a different set of eyes.
Yes.
And appreciate the things that you do have, and know that, okay, my life needs to move in this particular way so that I can be strong, so that I can be the best, my best self.
Right.
Reach my highest potential so that I'm able to contribute to the world what I'm here to do.
Right.
Exactly.
And be a vessel for the spirits and the energy,
to
that
continue
is
to work.
right, that is coming through me.
Yeah.
Yes. Every day
one
is a
thing I
blessing.
do want to say, I forgot. I was in the car with Daddy. This is just phenomenal. I was in the car with Daddy. And Imam Jamil calls him.
Come on now, say these names.
Imam Jamil, we know, is behind bars still. We're still fighting for his freedom. He calls him, and his first words were, "Brother, how you doing?" And he kept saying, "I'm give my condolences and deepest love to the Shakurs, to Mutulu's children." And I'm sitting there and all like, this man, and mind y'all now, He sounded just like he did when I was 17.
Oh yeah. He's always even
he was so cool, and we know he has a lot of medical challenges.
Right.
But he not once complained about where he was, what he was going through. He was like, Bilal, I need you to take care of yourself. I need you to stay strong and give my love to everybody. You know? And I just was sitting in the car driving like, this is something to witness, you know, and just feeling that camaraderie that they have.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's I'm explaining it, but I feel like it's unexplainable in some ways too, you know, that feeling.
It's like you'd have to be there to feel it, to hear it.
So it's like this summer was Blackity Black.
So Imam Jamil El-Amin, we need to free him and free them all.
Now.
Yes. Imam Jamil Action Network.org.
Yes.
My father has been working with that particular committee for, since he's been incarcerated in the early 2000s.
Yes. Early 2000s.
So check out that site. And you know, Black August, for those who do not know, is really about, you know, commemorating, you know, the revolutionary contributions, the works, the acts of, you know, our elders, our ancestors. It's about raising awareness for our political prisoners.
Yes.
And so, you know, Black August has passed. However, the work continues, you know, from Black August to the next Black August. That's educate yourself on, you know, if you don't know what a political prisoner is, go and do some research, you know, so that you can get some understanding.
And donate. You know, these people are still fighting for their lives.
Letters,
their families
sign
are fighting.
Petitions.
Yes.
You know, join. Mumia Abu
Jamal.
There's so many folks that are still incarcerated, like Aful was saying earlier. Kamal Siddiqui, Imam Jamil El-Amin. So go and learn. Veron's about. Go and learn those names and see Google what it is that you can do to support.
Listen, everything's on Google. You can Google political prisoners, freedom fighters who are still in prisoners of war, and those are in exile. And it's not just writing them letters. Write their families letters if you're able to. Donate to their causes. Donate to the different foundations that are being raised up in their name. Even those who have passed away, there's still foundations.
The work is still being done.
The work is still being done because, like we always say, we have to carry it on. And even the ones that we have not named. You know, we know, all of us know that Auntie Assata Shakur is still in exile. We know that her children and grandchildren cannot see her and have not been able to see her for years, you know, and can't talk to her. So it's like we don't, and so the support, a lot of times people don't understand how they can support a prayer, a card. It's not always financial. It's just a conversation, even a post saying, I love.
I was going to say spreading awareness.
Family. You know, whatever it is. Those things pull energy, and they give energy to those that cannot physically touch you. You know, so it's one thing we always say is our parents were the activists. We lived it though, because we were the children that had to be right. They brought us right along. Everywhere. We held their hands through it all. So we lived it. They of course did it. But we lived and we walked through it, and we're still living. And our fight and our struggle that we're doing is a little different, but we're still doing it, and we're carrying on the legacy. And it's going to continue far past even us. And that's the goal. And that's one thing Uncle Mtulu charged us with. He said that this legacy has to go on forever. And it's our job now. You know, we only have but so many of our elders left. It's our job now to teach our children and our grandchildren so that this legacy continues.
I was going to say, it might not be the original elders left, but you got some elders.
Oh, you got some yelders.
I'm not talking about the yeld.
You got Yelder Aiyisha T.
Aiyisha T. Obafemi in here. Who else is a Yelder now? Is Anochi a Yelder?
Chaka Zulu.
Chaka Zulu's a Yelder. Anochi's a Yelder. Dada G is a Yelder.
Yelders out here.
Shoot.
It's a lot of
Mopri was a Yelder.
Mopri was a Yelder. Yeah.
So we have some Yelders, but seriously, our elders truly on our legacy is just Daddy and Uncle Sekou. And we have to, you know, continue to talk to them, and then continue to talk to our children. And document everything. Because...
And continue to study those who have passed. that were in our lineage as well. Because like you
there's
said,
a lot of stories we don't know. I don't know all.
Like we said earlier, anytime we're amongst Daddy's comrades, we're learning new things. Like, you were sharing some things, very recently that you learned that you hadn't heard before. I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, we have to also continue our study, of our ancestors and our elders. For folks who haven't seen Dope is Death, go look at that documentary as well. Just continue to educate yourself, around, our heroes and our sheroes and these revolutionaries that, really made contributions and achievements so that world. We can do the work that we're doing so that we can even exist. Exactly. And so one of the fondest memories that I have, and I am glad that I was able to lay eyes on Uncle Mutulu and to hug him. I laughed a lot because my baby girl was, how old was she? Like,
she was 6 months?
6, maybe 6 or 7 months. Yeah. And, I'm all like open arms, hey! And he reaches down and hugs the baby. Yeah, she was literally. And the whole time just in the baby's face. Yeah. And I loved it, though. Because I was like, I love that for you, girl. Yeah. That you get to absorb this energy, as well as myself. But one of the things that he told me, he was asking me, what I'm working on. I was telling him about the different research projects and Seeds of Revolution. And he said, well, you have access to me. You have access to me anytime. Yeah. Whatever you need. And I received that. Yeah. Not even in that moment. It was like, okay, thank you. Right. But I receive it now in a way that's even more powerful and meaningful. Yeah. Because I know that he meant it even beyond his flesh. Yeah. You have access. I'm here whenever you need and however you need. Yeah. So thank you, Uncle Mutulu.
Yes. Yeah, thank you to Uncle Mutulu, to Avery, them two especially because they're not physically here. And just thank you to all those that are still fighting behind bars, fighting in different worlds that they're in exile realms. The prisoners of war, political prisoners. And just thank you for all those who, one thing I like to think is the supporters, because sometimes supporters feel like they're just there. But the support is so important.
Support is felt.
Yes. I tell people all the time.
And it's necessary.
When you didn't grow up like this and you step out there and do the work, you're a revolutionary. You're a revolutionary. You don't have to be a child of a revolutionary to be one. The work is what makes you who you are.
That's right.
So continue the work, continue the support, and we'll do what we have to do to continue to work in the support. But thank you to everybody,
And that's all I always say. Yeah, as I always say, the work doesn't have to look any particular way.
Not at all.
You could be sitting at the dinner table, at lunch, brunch, having a conversation, spreading awareness. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Well, thank you. You have been listening to the Seeds of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast.
Listen to us at blackpowermedia.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Follow us at Seeds of Revolution, that's Seeds with a Z, and Daughters of the Whirlwind on all platforms.
Be blessed.
Look for me in the